All right, I'm gonna make a quick video here just on a few items that I believe that are necessary to bring with me pretty much every time I go fishing, whether that be from the bank or my kayak, or for some of you, it's gonna be from a boat. So a lot of this stuff is because of mistakes that you make, and many times it's things that you wish you had when you didn't. So that's why a lot of these things are always gonna be in my bag or in my kayak with me when I do go out in the water. So the first thing, first and foremost, is going to be a net. I go bigger than anything just because it leaves less room for error, especially in a kayak when it matters, because you can only get, you're sitting down, you can only get the rods so close, you can't always flip them in, especially being a bigger fish. So I go with a nice wide net, fairly deep, and this is the Ego S2 slider, and I specifically got this net because, again, you can see it does detach from the actual handle, and this handle, you push a button here and it does expand, probably about, I'd say, around 4 feet, not including the length of the actual net itself. So it gives you a lot of options that, whether you're in a boat, a kayak, or if you're on the bank, something that you can't lift out of the water, or let's say it's a small drop off or an embankment, it gives you the option to fish those areas because you can reach this down in and pull it out without hurting the fish, and more importantly, not hurting yourself, because we've all been there. You go down to the edge of the water, you're trying to pick stuff out, there's slippery rocks, sometimes there's a little bit of a decline, you're going to end up slipping. I've done it before. You fall in the river, you fall in the lake, you might hurt yourself, you might lose the fish. And another reason is, especially in a kayak, reaching into the water, one, you want to keep your hands away from those hooks. So it's a nice way to get that fish in the kayak and have control of it, because it's not at your feet flopping around, getting those treble hooks caught in you or the fish, maybe the spine's poking you, and you're not going to be reaching over the side as to where you might tip over depending on the type of kayak you have or how stable you are in it. Another important thing to have is a good quality set of pliers, because we all need them one time or another, and you're gonna need them for mostly treble hooks, but sometimes you might need them for your bigger style EWG hooks or your jigs. So a nice bigger set, and I would always recommend, that I've come in handy for me for sure, are these Forceps style, that not only are they smaller, they have more of a fine tip for smaller hooks such as crankbait, jerkbait, maybe lipless crankbaits, but it does allow you to go a little bit farther deep down, and they do lock. So it does allow you to have a good solid grip on those hooks when you're not able to really reach them that well. Another good thing to have is a backup set of pliers, because you're going to end up dropping them in the water. It happens no matter how careful you are. And more specifically, I like to bring a multi-tool, just because it does give me more things that may come in handy, such as small screwdrivers, like a Phillips head, you have bottle openers, a knife. You just never know what's going to come in handy, because when you're out on the water, stuff happens. And another thing is going to be nail clippers. Everyone wants to cut with, you have a pocket knife, maybe even something like your pliers might have the cutters on them. I think that these are the best because they're very small, they're very controlled. You're not going to nick anything by accident like your main line, and you can get nice and close, and it just provides a nice, easy, compact way to, when you're tying your baits on, to get them to snip off the tag ends. And on the other side of that, split ring pliers a lot have the braid cutter right here. So if you do use braid, that's a great way to be able to cut that nice and close with, again, not nicking anything in the process. And another thing to have these is, if you end up swapping out hooks, let's say you bend something out and that you want to stick with that bait, you can take either the hooks and split rings off of a different lure to replace it, or if you bring spares with you, you can swap them out. No problem at all there. So again, these are super small, easy to throw in a bag, easy to throw in a kayak crate or something like that. And something that I know a lot of people don't bring, that I'm glad I started because I had one incident where I wish I did, are going to be something like mini bolt cutters. These are great because these can get through any size hook that I'm going to use. And that's something that I've tested before I bring them out, because I have used them to cut hooks that were hooked badly in fish. One was through the bottom, near the chin, near the gills. I didn't want to risk injury to the fish, so I just snipped it really quick. Super simple. I got the hook out, saved the fish, and I have plenty of hooks at home. I can replace the hooks, not an issue at all. I actually fished the rest of the day with just 2 of those 3 hook points, and I actually got another one, and it worked just fine. Another thing is going to be, mainly if you've seen people, they get crankbaits, swim baits, spinner baits, whatever, you get them stuck in your head, stuck in your arm, in your hands. It does happen. So it's much nicer to go to the emergency room if need be with just a small hook versus a giant crankbait or a swim bait attached to you, because it's very hard to try to get the split ring pliers to get that split ring and the hook off. It's going to be very painful when that thing's buried in your flesh. And for your toothy fish, a lot of people have issues grabbing them, me included, under the gill plates. It's a skill that you have to build. So this is very nice for pike, muskie, walleye, some of you saltwater fish. If you're not sure what kind of fish it is or if it has teeth, these are always a great option. They lock, so they do not open once they're down. But again, super simple to get off. These are only a couple dollars, and I have used these before just to lock down that fish so you can get in there, you can unhook it, hold it for a picture, whatever you may be doing with it. This is something that I actually had with me by chance, and I'm very glad I did, because this is the tool that specifically I used for my reels that I have on my bait caster. So I have a Gomexus aftermarket handle, and these little star keys are what tighten the reel down. So this is my crankbait rod, and just from that constant stress of cranking it and winding it all day, this came fairly loose to a point where I didn't feel comfortable using it. So having that on me allowed me to tighten that down, to be able to use it the rest of the day. And then I even noticed that I went through all my other reels that have the same similar tool, and I tightened them all down. Again, they were only a hair loose, but over time that's going to keep getting looser and looser and looser. And God forbid something happens where you hook into a fish and that reel might actually just come right off, or you might end up damaging some of the components in it because it wasn't tightened down properly. Another reason why I bring like a multi-tool, because it does have like a flat head. But what you should be doing is any of the reels that you're getting, they should come with a tool to adjust it. So that's just something that I personally bring with me all the time, because you're always going to have little tweaks and little maintenance you're going to have to do when you're out fishing, and you don't want that rod to go down for the day because you don't have anything, something as simple as just tightening down that reel. And for early morning fishermen or night fishermen, a nice headlamp. This was, I think, around $40 on Amazon, and it's great. It has a lot of settings on it. It's fairly bright. I have yet to use it on my kayak. I did use it fishing from the bank a few times, and this thing is solid. So using a flashlight, using like a solar powered lantern, they're okay, but having something hands-free that you can just put on your head and forget about it, that is definitely a very valuable thing to be bringing with you. And lastly, I've always seen some people getting really nice catches and not having a good way to get pictures because they're holding the phone out. It is awkward to be holding that fish and trying to extend your arm. You're cutting off part of your head, you're cutting off part of the fish. It's just awkward. Or you try to put the phone on the ground and it's never a good picture. So a nice tripod or something that you can get off Amazon, depending on you, if you have a GoPro or an action camera, such as what I'm filming this with. I have my tripod actually right here, so I can't show you, but they're very inexpensive, $20 or $30, and they have the little legs that fold out. You can set that up. So when you do catch a fish, you just got to pop either your phone or that camera on there. nice hands-free. You can hold that fish. You can get a good camera. You can record it. You can film the release, whatever you're going to do with it. But time and time again, I've seen a lot of people get these awesome catches and just they can't record it like they want to, especially in a kayak, because you're moving around. There's a lot of variables in a kayak. So I got one. I upgraded mine just this year. They fit right in the track. It's a nice solid thing. These action cameras are great because they're magnetic. You pop it off your chest or your head mount and you just snap it in. You don't got to sit there and worry about messing with it. It snaps in, you get your photo, and then you get a good release. So I think that's a great thing that a lot of people overlook, whether you're videotaping it or just trying to get a catch, a photo of a catch. So these are a lot of the things that I've just kind of accumulated over time that I've deemed necessary for myself. And they're definitely things that no matter what skill level, I believe everyone should be having at least a few of these things in their bag or in their boat when they do go out.